I'm gonna tell a story because I'm like really bored. Alright, so I went to my friend's birthday party whenever I was little, and we got there and I was so happy because they had a bouncy castle, and I was like, Mom, can I please go into the bouncy castle? And she was like, yeah. And I took off my shoes, and my friend said he was there, and he was at the top of the bouncy castle, like there's a little hill inside of it, and he was like, look guys, I'm gonna do a front flip. So he jumped up and he did a front flip, but once he did it, as soon as I crawled in, the back of his heel hit me on the top of the head, and the vibration went down and it cracked my nose, and I hadn't even, it just kind of hurt. It didn't really hurt that much, and I was little, so I didn't even know what happened. So I was sitting there, and I didn't know what happened. I was on the bouncy house for a little bit. And after a while, I started seeing like little blood droppings on the bouncy castle. So I was kind of sitting down, and I was like, I felt my nose, and there was a whole bunch of blood on my hands. So then after a while, I went up to my dad, and my dad was like, my whole entire face was covered with blood. So we spent like 30 minutes trying to get the blood to stop, and then we finally got to stop. And my dad and mom let me back onto the bouncy castle, and after a while it started to bleed again, and we spent another 30 minutes trying to stop it, and thankfully I didn't have to get surgery or anything. I'm so proud I didn't have to. So then there was one, it was like maybe 3 Christmases ago. It was on a Christmas Eve. We had these Mexican movers that moved our stuff into our house, and there was little toy boxes, and there was a cigar cutter, and I was like, I don't know, 7, and I didn't even know what it was. So I kind of put my finger in it, and it just like clamped. But once it clamped, I didn't really know what happened, so I kind of sat on my hand like, oh man, that hurt. And I looked at it, and from my finger all the way down to my elbow was all blood. And I still have the scar to this day. And if it would have cut any further, it would have cut like an inch off the top of my finger. It was crazy. So if anybody, I know I've already said this, I'm probably going to edit some of this out, but if anybody has a clan name, please comment and send highlights. Dang, Bo. You really struggled to get out the bathroom. You locked and unlocked the door like 8 times.
Oh yeah, I know, it kept like twisting.
Look at the map, bro.
Alright, I get to play for a long time now.
I didn't even play that long. I was in a lobby the whole time. I told a story. I told 2 stories.
To YouTube? What stories were they?
One, how I cracked my nose, and the other one about how I nearly cut the tip of my finger off. I still have the scar. Oh, I destroyed it.
Alright, here, let me play.
Oh, let me get 2 more deaths.
Alright, then I get like 20.
Right. No, you get like the rest of the game, okay? Because it just started.
Yeah.
Oh,
bet. I saw that. That was clutch.
Alright, if you have any stories, tell some stories, because what's some that you haven't told me? Because you've never really told me any stories. Other than like 2. Other than like thrice. There's 2 people sniping me. What the heck?
Oh, that was a secret. We got that, did it?
Adam's
apple. I have a lot of stories, dude.
Alright, tell some.
Give me a topic.
I don't really know.
Here's a story. I hit a kid so hard I made him fumble in football.
That's a story. That's not. Who's stupid monkey wants you to play? Want to play?
No.
No.
I mean, we could go on a sniping war with him.
Oh, good. That does not count. No. I have one more.
We could go on a sniping war with him, dude.
No. We don't know, bro. He might be like the top sniper. I don't know. There you go. Alright, so tell some stories.
Alright. Well, let's see.
Good story.
Oh, okay. Alright, so I was at my next door neighbor's house, and they had like a tall brick column.
Well.
And I was standing on it, right?
Uh-huh.
And we were doing some trick shots, and I was young. So I tried to jump off and do a 360. But it turned into a fail. So when I jumped, I slipped with one foot, and I just fell straight forward, and the first thing I hit on the concrete was my forehead. And I had the biggest bump on my forehead. It was insane.
Oh, I have a story.
And then I went home crying. My mom was like, "What happened?"
So I have a story. So we used to live in Malaysia. Like, I was born in like all my family's from Louisiana. I was born in Texas. Like, not that long after I was born, we moved from Texas to Louisiana for my dad's job. Mm-hmm. No, from Texas to Malaysia for my dad's job. So on the way back, on the way there, I was like I get flight sick sometimes. Don't really know why. I don't know how. I haven't gotten used to it, but I throw up after each flight. Don't know why.
Every time? For real?
I haven't flown since I was young. So we were in Malaysia.
I'm gonna get it before this guy.
We were in Malaysia and we were sitting there, and we were at this local pool in our I don't even know what it's called. It was not really a neighborhood. They called it something else in Malaysia. That was lit. So we were in there, and there's this tall brick wall, and we were running. My brother was chasing me, and he was it, and we were playing tag. And I don't know. I don't have a single clue why we were running by a pool with soaked floors with a brick wall. So we were running, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you." And I turned around to look at him while I was still running, and I went to turn back and face first ran into that brick wall. And the rest of the day, I had a big red mark on my forehead. Dang. But as soon as I hit the wall, I fell straight to the ground. I did not move for 5 minutes, and they wouldn't pick me up because nobody really knows what happened. Because my brother just kind of stared at me, and then he noticed, and then he went to my parents, and they picked me up, and they put and they put this rubbing alcohol stuff on it, and I was fine. But I don't really have a scar. I have lots of scars though. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, tell them about that story about how your friend's mom owned the apartment complex and the people broke in there. Ran away.
Alright. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I done missed. That's embarrassing. Alright, so my mom's, she knew this lady, her friend, and she worked with her friend or something. And so the lady, she had 2 twin daughters, right? And the daughters, they were home alone. The parents were out of town, and they heard knocking on the door, right? And you know how your parents say, don't answer the door when someone knocks and you're home alone? Well, they didn't answer. And then they heard they were banging hard. Someone at the door, they were banging. So they got scared, so they grabbed the phone, ran upstairs in their room and locked their door and hid in their closet. Well, they heard a breaking in the glass on the downstairs. So they were just calling their dad, and they were like, "Dad, someone broke into our house. We don't know what's going on." And of course, they were crying and scared. So they couldn't do anything. They were out of town. They were like, "Okay, I'll try to get home as fast as I can. Call the police." So they call the police, and they tell them address and everything. So they get there, and then they hear someone kick into the door of the room, and the person that kicked in the room was just in the door. Their closet didn't have a lock on it, so the person, he was just stealing stuff out of the room. And as he was probably about to open the closet, as he was stealing stuff, the cops pulled up. So they all ran, and one jumped out of the second story. So they were that lucky. They could have got killed or something or hurt. So they just got real lucky.